We want to thank y'all for joining us tonight. We have a very special topic tonight, and we are going to say it a couple of times before everybody comes in and join. Friendship in your marriage is a very important relationship that needs to be maintained between you and your wife. We just want to start by saying that we're here tonight. Myself, Nick, and Trina Brinson, under the leadership of Dr. Finest Bush Jr. and Lady Denise Bush. And we just here on Marriage Mondays to bring you a little bit of information and a little bit of encouragement to improve your marriage and to hopefully make it better. And we've had a few people that join us tonight. Let's see who's watching. Miss Shamika Cummins, thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you. And we're talking about friendship and marriage tonight. Last week's topic was conflict resolution. And this topic kind of lends itself to be moved from conflict resolution to being in friendships. So, we explored last week about conflict resolution and 4 things that you can do to help conflicts in your marriage. Okay. And we will continue to talk about those things at a later date.
Now, are we posted from the church webpage?
Oh, yeah, we're on the church webpage.
Okay, it's not showing up here. There it is.
We're on the church webpage.
All right, so we encourage you guys to go ahead and share the Facebook Live that we're doing now, so we can get more people connected. I'm going to do the same here. And that way we can reach more people for those who are not a member of our Crown Kingdom Cultural Center Facebook page, so that way we can connect your friends and family who might be interested in the topic or in our discussion tonight. And we appreciate all the feedback. We've gotten a lot of feedback in person as well as online for people that are appreciating the conversations we're having and just these little short lessons. And as always, we are desire to hear from you guys what topics are of interest or what you're finding helpful or what you would like more information on. Just kind of let us know what your needs are, and we would love to hear from you in reference to what you need and what's working for you. So we're giving time for people to join. We are talking about friendship. And did you already say that?
And marriage, yes.
Yeah, friendship and marriage. Sometimes we don't. That's something we take for granted. And more people coming on. A lot of faithful members, Crown members, tuning in. Francine Brown, Myra Christian. I don't see who else came on before that. But we'll give you time. For those that celebrated Father's Day, which I hope was everybody yesterday, we hope all our fathers had a wonderful Father's Day and that we showed appreciation. I think you had a pretty good Father's Day, didn't you?
I had a great Father's Day. Yeah, they heard what I wanted to have and I don't know in my discussions and they got it for me. The girls listened and my wife listened, and they provided me with what I wanted, the desires of my heart. So I appreciated them for that yesterday and celebrate me as the father of the family, and I really appreciate it. And I hope the rest of you guys can say that too, that your children are delighted in celebrating you. And we just want to say that to our fathers, we love and respect the people that have been father figures in our lives and our fathers, and we just love and respect what they've done for us over the years and how they've imparted and put in information to allow us to grow and develop.
Yeah, particularly Bishop Bush, the leader of our church ministry. He is certainly fathered or poured into the lives of those of us who are members at Crown. And so I hope you reached out and showed your appreciation to him yesterday for Father's Day, and again today for his 60th birthday.
Happy birthday, Bishop. Big 60. And he doesn't look like it, and he say he definitely does not feel like whatever 6 is supposed to be. He feels great, and he's definitely a great looking guy, and takes very good care of himself. So everybody, that's an example. One day that all of us can follow too, as being significant fathers in the lives of our families. Not only just taking care of your family, but also learning how to take care of yourself, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So he does a great job of that, and he attributes a lot of that to his spiritual life and his prayer life. So I'm definitely learning to follow that example as I continue to grow and develop into that 60-year-old one day. All right, we're about 6 minutes in, and we have a lot of people that have come in, and we appreciate y'all for joining us. Tonight we're going to discuss friendships in your marriage. And like my wife stated, a friendship is definitely a concept that you need to keep up in your marriage relationship, because no one can share your experiences like the person that's close to you, like a friend. And in the dictionary, it defines a friendship as someone that shares your experiences and your time. So, and that person should be your closest friend, which I think should be your spouse. So that's what we're going to examine tonight. We're going to give you 5 tips on how to encourage the friendship in your marriage, and how to keep that friendship going with one another. Yeah, I think you said that.
But sometimes your friendship can feel stronger or more present sometimes inside your marriage, even than your presence in each other's life as a lover, because those feelings kind of come and go. But somehow we can fall out with our friends, it seems like, but still kind of hold on to the friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a quality that we can bring, or a dimension we can bring into our marriage, to realize this is not just my spouse, not just, the person I'm loving and sharing life with, but this is my friend. There's a level of respect that we give to friends that we don't have to clarify, that we share that level of respect. So if you've ever had a good friend, somebody you can really count on, you know that's an important relationship. And so your spouse certainly should be considered a friend. And if you don't feel like your spouse is your friend, we encourage you to do some work to build up that aspect of your relationship.
Yeah, because you got a lot of patience and understanding for a friend, a person you call a friend, than sometimes you do for your spouse.
Yeah.
Because all of us probably done had that friend that, you got that friend that's we consider to be crazy, but you accept that as part of, that's who they are. Right. And you accept that, and you go on, and you take the good qualities that they bring to the relationship, and you move on with those. You don't just throw that person away because, oh, that joker got a moment, or she just ain't, kind of quality that I think I want to have around every day. But you accept those qualities, and hopefully through your influence of that person, you can kind of change or rub off on, but you don't necessarily just throw the relationship away. Something has to happen almost drastically for you to not call this person your friend.
Yeah.
Because we got friends dating all the way back to, I don't know, elementary school, childhood. And, those people got qualities that you may not participate in or you agree with, but you still got that friendship. Mm-hmm. So, and that's kind of the mentality you got to bring to your marriage. You're actually getting involved with an imperfect person. Right. And that's the understanding that needs to happen.
And your spouse is getting involved with an imperfect person too.
Right.
It goes both ways, so we have to accept each other.
So one of the things we're going to talk about first, one of the first tips we're going to talk about is make small moments a pivotal experience in your relationship. Make small moments a pivotal experience in your relationship. What do we mean by that? For instance, if me and my wife were talking earlier while we were planning for the broadcast tonight, and sometimes you're doing something in another room, and they may be somewhere else, and they may ask you to bring them something out of the refrigerator, and you may be actually involved in something you don't want to break away from, and they disturb what you're doing, and you go get them whatever they need, and you bring it to them with a certain attitude. Are you making an experience out of that moment? I would say no, you're not. But what can you do to make an experience out of that moment? You bring them whatever they need, and you can even do something simple. Is there anything I can do for you while I'm in the mood to serve? And they may say something like, my feet hurt, and you could take that time to rub the feet. So make those moments special. That builds relationships and friendships.
I think it's just a matter of taking a moment to take those mundane things that come up in day-to-day life and using it as an opportunity to just show some affection or some kind of appreciation. So even, if I get you a glass of water and give you a kiss with it, that goes a little further than just to, here your water, or give it without any kind of, no love on it. So that's just an opportunity to show friendship and appreciation to your spouse in just the everyday, the mundane things that we do day to day. Just kind of, what is it called when they're cooking? Elevating.
Yeah, elevate.
Yeah, just to kind of elevate your interactions to show love.
Okay. All right. So something else you can also do is show genuine interest in your partner. Show genuine interest in your partner. Whatever they're going through or whatever their interest may be, have a conversation with them. Talk about what you may know, or just sit there and listen and add something to the conversation. Right now, we're in the midst of buying a bedroom suit for our bedroom. So it's something that Trina's been interested in for a while. My thing is, as long as I got mattresses to sleep on, I'm good. But my interest is not into what's involved in the bedroom suit, because she's interested in it. I take part in choosing the colors, the design, because I do have a say in what goes in the bedroom, because she's interested in making the bedroom better. So that's one thing that we've been doing. You guess what I'm saying?
So you're not genuinely interested in picking out the bedroom suit?
Yeah.
I thought you were interested.
I am, but that's something that you've been talking about for a couple of years, and that you want something nice for the bedroom. And I'm not at that level of interest that you are, but because you're interested in it, I got interested in it real quick.
Well, I have to say I appreciate you showing an interest and putting forth the effort, because
Right.
it's irritating to be excited about something and then to go to somebody, they just kind of throw rain on you,
Right.
on your fire.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, so because I thought you really cared.
And the thing that kicked my interest up a little bit more is the fact that we are almost doing a room makeover. We got new carpet in the bedroom, and now we're going to get new furniture. So it's all coming together, and I'm excited about the new bedroom. That's going to be.
So you do have some interest.
I have some interest.
Okay.
All right. Something else you can do to create more friendship in your relationship is number 3. And I didn't write this one down.
Like your wife told you to.
That's funny. I didn't write this one down. Basically, do more stuff together to create a more physical connection in your relationship. Create a more physical, do more stuff emotionally to create a physical bond in your relationship. And we had a discussion about it, and we were talking, it's not so much as, okay, we do one thing and then we're going to create magic in the bedroom. It really doesn't happen like that. It's something that has to be purposeful and done, not so you can make it to the bedroom, but to make the bedroom more pleasurable when you get there.
The idea is using your everyday interactions to build a better connection to each other, so that you're connected during the day. So the heading for this article, we pulled this information, they were saying using your everyday positive interactions in your relationship as a form of foreplay. So that's sort of the premise behind it, is you want to be connected in your everyday interactions. So even, sitting, if you're watching TV together, instead of, one person on one side of the room, one person on another. You may choose to sit close to each other, even touching, while you're sitting by or sitting together, laying on each other, something so that you are intentionally building up some kind of connection with each other throughout the day. And that can translate into a better physical connection later. So that was the point of a way for you to support the friendship, so that your sexual interactions are not just about that. It's about a connection that you've built up all day. So even if it's, using your cell phone to send something to your spouse that's going to make them start to think ahead for what you got planned that night, just to get you both on the same page and for you to be connected. So that's really a way for you to build friendship, so that you're thinking about each other during the day and just kind of getting on the same page and staying connected physically, and mentally.
Make your wife an unconditional friendship relationship. Make your friendship unconditional, meaning that it's hard. Make it in a situation where there's almost nothing that can happen to break your friendship.
Right.
Do things that gonna let that person know that you're there for them, and whatever happens, I'm one person that you can count on.
And
I'm here for you.
Having a level of respect for one another. Sometimes we feel like it's okay for us to cross boundaries with our spouse that gets into a level of disrespect. And it's very important to regard those boundaries. You think about with your friends, there are things you wouldn't say and do ever to your friends that sometimes we do to our spouse. And so we have to remember that our spouse is also our friend, and we have to regard that spouse as an individual person, and also regard them with a level of respect that we would extend to others. We should never find ourselves respecting other people more than we respect our spouse. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that, because sometimes you're so close and you're with each other so much, and you become so much a part of one another, that sometimes we forget, this is a person who deserves respect and admiration, and I have to be intentional about those things and not take it for granted. You may see each other in your most vulnerable moments. That doesn't negate the fact that you have to treat each other with a level of respect that you would owe to anybody.
Mm-hmm. And that respect goes as far as being more respectful to your spouse than your own mother and father. And it has to be like that. That's why two become one. And y'all share that relationship with each other. And everything you do should be unconditional and for each other. All right? And if you have any comments about anything that we're talking about, or other things that doing or your spouse are doing to create a friendship or a bond in your relationship, put it in the comment box. Some things that are in the comment box, we see them and we'll read them, because it's very, very good information. So don't be shy about giving your input in this.
We don't have all the answers. We're here to share with you. We're not here as an official know-it-all, or only end-all be-all. We're just here to share information, to share resources, so that you can do the work inside of your own marriage. One thing people do not say enough about marriage is that it is work. We don't tell that part. When people are in love and they're thinking about marriage, that's a part, for some reason, that everybody seems to keep secret. But a successful marriage takes intentional work. It doesn't just happen automatically. It doesn't just happen because you love each other. It doesn't just happen because you want it to. You will have conflict. Mm-hmm. You will have problems. The whole process of two becoming one is in fact a process. Your marriage and you should always be growing inside of your marriage. Your marriage is always going to challenge you as an individual. It doesn't always feel comfortable. There are a lot of great parts to it, but we somehow neglect to let people know that you're entering into a job that you're going to have for the rest of your life. And that job is to take care of that marriage. It takes effort. It takes time. If you don't set aside time for it, your marriage will show up that way. Mm-hmm. You'll be lacking If you don't take time to show appreciation to one another, that emptiness becomes a problem inside your relationship. You have to decide and be intentional consistently about taking time. Sometimes people take better care of their cars than they do of their marriage. Or they can exercise every single day and be faithful about taking care of their body, yet don't spend any time taking care of their marriage. Every single day, you should be moving towards a stronger and better relationship. But it takes effort. It does not happen on its own.
All right, and the last heading we're going to talk about, the fifth one, is be on your partner's team. Team Brinson is a unit. We come as one. There are not things that we've encountered much that can split up what we've tried to build. We are dedicated to each other, and that's how we expect each other to be. I mean, that's just an expectation that we have. Even though we may have internal problems, and we may go outside to find out how to remedy those things, but just trust and believe that Team Brinson we're for each other.
Yeah,
and I got to give a little shout out to another, is Team Brown. Matter of fact, I was talking to Deacon Brown yesterday about his marriage, and he was like, Coach, me and my baby, we on another level like right now, communicating and doing what we need to do. That's just a shout out to Team Brown, because they're learning to develop in ways, and they always, when he talked to me, it's always a God first thing or led by the word thing. It's nothing that we're gonna do outside of the word that's gonna make our marriage the way it's supposed to work. Everything is gonna be based on the word, and that's why I enjoy talking to that brother about his marriage. So that's an example of being a team.
Yeah, and you have to be careful too, even in fun and games. When you're playing games or having discussions with friends or family, be careful not to allow a conflict about politics or a conversation about politics, or even an innocent game can turn into something divisive that follows you home, and you end up dealing with it in the bedroom. Because we were talking earlier about how important it is that you don't get so wrapped up in right and wrong and siding with, especially with all the debates and everything that's going on with inside of politics right now, all the conversations on race. You don't want to be divisive, especially in public. You can have varying opinions, and you certainly are individual, can have those opinions, but what you don't want to do is side against your spouse you side with another person. So let's just say we have a third person, and their opinion is I don't know what's something. They want to vote for President Trump. And then I might say, well, I'm not going to vote for President Trump. I'm going to vote for Biden.
Right.
And then he might say, well, she got a good point about voting for Trump. And then next thing you know, he and I are having a divisive conversation because he's siding with somebody else. That's fine to have different opinions. But in public and in the face of others, we are always going to stand together. So It doesn't mean he can't have a different opinion from what I have. What it means is he's not going to turn on me in public to support somebody else who's in opposition to me. He can either choose to be quiet and say nothing, or he can just make a vague statement and keep it moving, because ultimately you want to keep the peace between the two of you. And when we get home,
we have a discussion about it or talk about it, then you can have your own debate, but it's between y'all two. I mean, you didn't put her on what they call Front Street in front of the public, and you may seem something like y'all divided, because the what's going to happen is that devil and that demon, he's going to take that and do some work with it real quick if you let him.
And people watch, and not everybody wants you to win. Not everybody wants to see you succeed. And when people can see, or when you expose your weakness to the world or expose it to Satan, and they see that you two can be so easily divided just in a conversation, that's just a tool that you've allowed to be waged against you because you've kind of shown that area of weakness. Just don't let it be an area of weakness. Stick together. We are a unit. We are a team. Yes, we have different opinions, but we are going to stand together and not put each other, not stand in opposition against one another, especially in the face of other people. We're not going to side with other people against our spouse. So even if the rest of the room might have a different opinion than what I have, one person in the room that's not going to be jumping on me is going to be him.
Right.
Whether he agrees or not, his priority would be to support me, or vice versa.
Right.
That's the number one priority. Regardless of whatever else is going on in the room, we have to keep this together when the conversation ends.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
So that's part of being on a team, and knowing that you always have that person on your side or on your team, that person chooses you. That just makes your relationship, your marriage, that much stronger by building that level of friendship, knowing you've got that friend that sticks with you.
Right. And as we're finishing up tonight, the Bible expresses of the importance of what a friendship should be in your marriage, and Ecclesiastes 4:9-12 states that two are better than one, because they have a good return on their work. If one falls down, his friend can pick him up or help him up. But pity the man who falls, and no one is there to help him up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But he who lies down alone, who keeps him warm? Although one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. And that comes out of Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. So, the Bible expresses that sentiment and what friendship should be, and how you should treat each other. Like in a marriage vow, two that are apart come together and be one. You got to learn how to be oneness in your relationship, and that's basically what your friendship can establish, that oneness.
Yeah. We just have to protect that. We have to value one another enough to protect that oneness. Mm-hmm. And that's an advantage of being married as opposed to being single, is you do have the power of two instead of one. That's an advantage you have in marriage. And so to keep that alive is it is a refreshing thing to know that you always have somebody with you on your side. You want to be able to count on your spouse. If you get to the point that there's so much contention between you that you don't know if your spouse is with you or not, that's a rough place to be. That's the place you need to move out of, meaning that you need to do the work it takes to re-strengthen your union so that the two of you can work together and move forward in strength. And that takes some work.
It takes
some time, and it takes some effort. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does not happen magically. And if you don't know where to start, the first thing you need to do is to pray. Ask God to show you what it is you need to know, to lead you to the resources, to lead you to gain the knowledge and the insight that you need to cause something different to manifest in your relationship. And of course, you can out to us. We're here to support you. And of course, we sometimes undervalue the Word of God. In all honesty, in marriage, we get so wrapped up in it being an earthly relationship that we forget that marriage was ordained and established by God. It was His idea. Marriage didn't happen because laws were written to make marriage happen. Marriage happened because God ordained it before there was ever even a written law.
Right.
And so we have to remember that this is God's idea. And so we have to make sure that our marriage is centered around our relationship with God. And that's what can hold us together when we don't know what to do to keep each other in good graces with one another.
Mm-hmm. So, it's not good for man to be alone. God said that. It's not good for man to exist in this world alone. But you need the ability, and this is another talk, to stand alone to make your marriage great. That's just another topic. But it's always great to have somebody to walk with you while you're walking through.
I said one thing that was not in this lesson that I think we have the freedom to add is it goes a long way in strengthening your connection with one another when you are intentional about showing your appreciation for one another. Actually verbally communicating what you appreciate about your spouse. That goes a long way. People need to hear that, regardless of the fact that, yes, you love one another, yes, you appreciate one another. You need to verbalize it. Make sure that you're showing that and that the other person feels that. That connection sometimes can alone soften a situation so that you can move forward and deal with the conflicts that you have to face. When you know you've got somebody in your corner, it makes it a whole lot easier to face the challenges of the world.
Amen. All right, with that said, we just want to thank y'all for tuning in with us tonight. And we just, want to give another special shout out to our bishop, who's in the process of celebrating his 60th birthday with his family. And y'all make sure to treat our bishop well and make him feel like he is the king of his kingdom as he is. And with that said, we just want to thank y'all for joining us tonight. And this is the lady, and I'm the coach. We love you. Goodbye.